We are back for another installment of Trump Gets Indicted. We're on episode 4 of Trump Gets Indicted. Indictment number 4 brings the total felony charges for Donald J. Trump to 91 felony counts. That is insane. And there is still a possibility of him getting indicted again in Bedminster, New Jersey. Will he go for number 5? I at this point, I do not doubt the man. If the man wants to go for number 5, he will get number 5, okay? Over under on 100 felonies. Over 100. Over under. What do you guys think? I'm going over 100 felonies by the time we get done with this. And just think, all he's got to do is get just like one of them. One. And his ass is fried. So let's take a look. We're going to WFMY News number 2.
Today, since a Georgia district attorney announced charges against former President Donald Trump and 18 others. Now, his co-defendants are criticizing prosecutors who accuse them of racketeering to overturn the 2020 election results.
Okay,
Nicole
first
Killian
of all,
reports from Atlanta.
This news lady looks like she just woke up. She did not brush her hair. She looks like she had a difficult night, a long night. She looks like she was up maybe reading a 91-page indictment of 13 felonies.
Where the accused have been told, you need to appear by the end of next week.
Oh.
Just hours after Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis announced charges against former President Donald Trump and 18 others for their election.
Dude, doesn't Donald Trump look like he's tired? Like, okay, him and Andrew Tate both kind of talk a lot of shit. They both kind of like, bring it on. I don't care. They can bring all the indictments. I'm a professional now. But it looks like he's tired, man. 91 felonies later, it looks like he may be getting worn down at this point.
Alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia.
It is now the duty of my office to prove these charges in the indictment beyond a reasonable...
Dude, you do not want Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, and Jack Smith coming after you. Like, good Lord, Donald Trump. You are about to have a real bad time, my friend.
...doubt at trial.
Trump said in a social media post he'll hold a news conference next Monday that will be
a large, complex, detailed, but irrefutable report on the presidential election fraud which took place in Georgia is almost complete and will be presented by me at a major news conference at 11 a.m. on Monday of next week in Bedminster, New Jersey. Based on the results of this conclusive report, all charges should be dropped against me and others. There will be a complete exoneration.
Mr. Trump has said that he will no longer hold an event Monday to present what he called an irrefutable report on the 2020 election in Georgia. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, remember, he said it was a large, complex, and irrefutable report. He has canceled that event that was supposed to happen Monday in Bedminster.
They never went after those that rigged the election. They only went after those that fought to find the riggers. That's real close, Donald. That's a hard R, Donald. That's careful. You think they took his phone away from him? Like they're like, sir, you cannot post that. Like they changed that last word. You know it's in his vocabulary. You know it's definitely in his vocabulary.
Be a complete exoneration, and he repeated false claims of election fraud in Georgia. The state's Republican governor, Brian Kemp, hit back.
Now see, this is what I'm saying. Even the Republicans have had enough of his shit. 2020 election in Georgia was not stolen. For nearly 3 years now, anyone with evidence of fraud has failed to come forward under oath and prove anything in a court of law. Our elections in Georgia are secure, accessible, and fair, and will continue to be as long as I am governor. The future of our country is at stake in 2024, and that must be our focus. And isn't it crazy how everybody else's tweets are easy to read? Are they tweets anymore? What the hell do we call them now? Are we not allowed to? I don't know what to call them. X's? Are they X's now?
The 2020
Crosses?
Election in Georgia was not stolen. With 9 days left to turn themselves in, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office says it expects the 19 indicted defendants, including the former president, to be booked at the Fulton County Jail. Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who faces 13 counts for allegedly making false statements about the 2020 election, denies any wrongdoing and says he plans to surrender soon.
I'll pick a day next week, try to work out the conditions of bail, because there has to be bail, I imagine.
On Tuesday, Trump's other co-defendant.
Poor Rudy says he doesn't have any money left. He's going to have to sell his $6.5 million apartment in New York to be able to continue fighting these legal woes. Poor Rudy Giuliani has to sell his $6.5 million apartment. That's just, I really feel for him. The poor dude having to sell his $6.5 million apartment. That's just, my heart bleeds for him.
And former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows sought to move the criminal charges against him from Fulton County to federal court.
Yeah.
His lawyers say they plan to file a motion to dismiss the...
And so that's what they're going to try and do. This is what they're going to try to do. Because it's a state trial, they're going to try to prove that Donald Trump was, in the capacity of his office, trying to investigate the election fraud that was going on allegedly in Georgia while he was president. So as long as they can prove that what he was doing was in a capacity of being the president of the United States and it was part of his job, they can move it to federal courts, which would be a lot more on the positive side for Donald Trump because, you know, he stacked the courts with judges while he was the president of the United States. It's as though he knew he was going to be facing these charges. Crazy! They should not allow bail and just, can you imagine these 18 douchebags just sitting in a Fulton County, Georgia jail, just like in there with Debo? I want your fruit cup.
Man, give me a fruit cocktail.
Well, I can't. If I did that, then I'd have to give it to you every day, and I won't get all my vitamins.
I just need to see all of these guys in jail. It would be pretty effing funny.
I'm somebody's bitch.
Case arguing nothing Mr. Meadows is alleged in the indictment to have done is criminal. Meadows was on this call with Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger in January 2021.
Mr. President, everybody is on the line, and just so, this is Mark Meadows, the Chief of Staff.
During which Trump made this...
These guys have been incriminating themselves so hard. I thought that these guys are, like, better at being criminals. Aren't they? Like, isn't that, like, part of being a politician is, like, don't you have to take, like, a course in, like, how to be a criminal or something like that? Like, Shady 101. Obviously, these guys, like, had somebody else do their homework because they are incriminating themselves more than Andrew Tate.
And also, I like Eastern Europe as a whole because corruption's far more accessible. I find it offensive that a police officer in England will stop me for speeding and then refuse to take a bribe and pretend that... No, but I'll tell you why. Because he'll sit there and go, no, this is the law and order, and pretend that the law means something and fuck me over.
Jesus Christ.
Statement.
I just want to find 11,780 votes. This is one more than we have because we won the state.
What?
So that phone call to Georgia.
Why is it such a specific amount of votes? Was that exactly how many votes he needed to win? Oh, Jesus.
Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, as well as calls to Georgia's governor and other lawmakers in the state, are the reasons why this indictment is playing out in Fulton County. Now, Georgia's state capital, Atlanta, actually spreads over 2 counties. The state capitol building and offices for government officials are in Fulton County, but Atlanta boundaries are also in DeKalb County.
Okay.
Now, Trump even brought up Fulton County in a phone call to Raffensperger. He claimed that a couple 100,000 ballots had been forged with signatures on them. A hand recount of the Fulton County ballots provided no evidence.
So this is my thing about this, too, is how? How does he know? Like, he just makes up numbers. He's like, a couple 100,000. Just throwing it out there. He's like fucking Dr. Evil.
$100 billion. Oh, gentlemen.
100,000. Like, he does. How did he come up with these numbers?
Of that widespread forgery, and Biden's victory was reaffirmed. Now, the charges against Trump are for violating Georgia's Rico Act.
Yep,
it is a
racketeering.
law commonly used against organized crime. Legal analyst Ricky Clayman
happening,
explains
James?
how prosecutors are using it in this case.
When we look at the Rico Act, it originally was a federal act. It goes back to around 1970, and it was meant for the mob.
Oh,
It
perfect.
was to put the mob up.
It was meant for the mob. That's perfect. Because they're very mafia-like.
Out of business. It's about racketeering, influence, corrupt organizations. So the mob was a corrupt organization. Then it got used in unions.
Bucket, you're right. You're right, Bucket. He might get off on the technicality that you can't actually consider the things that these people do to be organized. They might get off on the technicality. When you have Rudy Giuliani as part of your crime organization, Bucket, like you are guaranteed to have zero to no organization at all.
It was also a way of looking at mob behavior that had gone into unions. And eventually there were prosecutors who decided that this was a creative tool, that if you could get a number of people that you could see that they formed a group, an enterprise, that perhaps their activity.
And they just recently used this actually on a group of teachers that were they were making up test scores. I think that's what they were doing. So this is a law that obviously the Fani Willis here has been putting a lot of work into as far as using it in really creative ways to figure out how to prosecute some crimes that perhaps would not been prosecutable under previous laws. And this is the thing about what's going on with Jack Smith. This is what's going on with Fani Willis. What's going on with Alvin Bragg is Donald Trump is a moron. He left open all of these avenues where they could just prosecute him from every single angle. Like, we've seen politicians put themselves in places where they get in trouble for hush money. We've seen them get in trouble for election fraud. We've seen them get in trouble for, like, campaign fund problems. Like, all of these things. But it's generally, like, one or the other. Like, they're generally smart enough to not get, busted for 91 separate felonies. And when all of these people, they keep saying this, and I want to point this out there. People keep saying it's politically motivated. And the left, a lot of people on the left are going, no, it is. It's politically motivated. I agree it's politically motivated. Because we don't want a guy that has been charged with 91 felonies to be running for the president of the United States. That makes all of us look terrible. The fact that there's people that are going, I don't give a shit, I'm going to vote for him anyways.
Are you worried that these criminal investigations could complicate Trump's campaign?
No. I think it's a great thing.
That is just like leading to this stereotype of America being just like filled with dullards. Like, no, we got to stop. We don't want that happening. And yeah, if they are attempting to put this man in prison for crimes he committed, which he has his right to go to trial and prove his innocence, and go for it, bud. I don't want a presidential candidate that is facing 91 felonies. I don't want a presidential candidate that stole top secret documents and showed them to people that they shouldn't have seen. I don't want a presidential candidate that pays hush money to people that he cheated on his wife with. I don't want a presidential candidate that conspired with 18 other people to overturn an election and put fake electorate into a place where they could get Mike Pence. Why am I saying thank God for Mike Pence? This is so weird. Thank God for Mike Pence. That Mike Pence was like, I'm not going to do that shit. This could have been so much worse. Imagine if Mike Pence was like, sure, fuck it, I'll try it. Why not? Like, this is crazy. Absolute insanity. Politically motivated, go for it. Yeah, because I don't want to see a president that is running on 91 felonies. Maybe 100 by the time we get there. Maybe 105. I'm not going to put a bar on this because Donald Trump could probably just leap right over it.
Could be considered an enterprise of racketeering activity. Fani Willis, this prosecutor, is someone who likes using this statute. She has used it before in the hip-hop world.
Oh, shit.
She actually used it with a group of
I wonder if she could use it on Forgiato Blow. That's definitely, if she can use it on Fellatio Blow, she should.
teachers involved with a cheating scandal. That would be the last group I would think of. But here, she has looked and not only taken lots of people, where we have 19 defendants, she's looked at intent in Georgia coming from intent also in other states.
And one of the reasons that they have so many defendants is because over the next, I don't know, probably 6 months, they're going to start trying to get these people to flip on Donald Trump. And this is my prediction. I actually think that Donald Trump is going to skate on these charges. And this is why I think that's going to happen. Because just like in the mafia, there's probably going to be 2 to 3 of these people that are willing to take the fall for him. They're going to go out and just go, it was all me, totally my fault. I'm the one who did it. And Donald Trump, much like in the mafia, is going to take care of your wife while you're in prison. Don't worry about it. We're going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it all. And that's what I think is going to happen. I think some of these stooges that work for Donald Trump are going to take the fall for him, and he's going to skate. And I think that Jack Smith and Fannie Willis and Alvin Bragg know that that's what he's going to do, and that's why they're coming at him from so many different channels. I hope to God that they get his ass.
Well, these are not the only charges that the former president faces, but these are the most recent of charges. In New York State, prosecutors charged Trump with
Bet on who's going to flip first. That's a tough one. The who's going to flip first is a tough one. I'm going to say that Giuliani, it's like 50-50 whether he's the fall guy or he's the flipper. Giuliani is a wild card. Like, when he gets on the stand and that oil starts leaking down the side of his face, like, it could go either way, dude. It could go either way.
Falsifying business records about hush money for a payoff to a foreign actor before the 2016 election. That trial is set to begin in March. In Florida, the Justice Department brought more than 36 felony counts. They accuse him of illegally possessing classified documents after leaving the White House.
In my opinion, the worst part about this is that the Florida case, I'd say actually the January 6th one is up there too. So this is pretty good. But the Florida case, in my opinion, is the worst one. Like, that's the one that he did the worst stuff, right? As far as, like, the taking the top secret documents, showing them to people, having people that have no classified access at all, moving them around and storing them in places like the bathroom or the storage shed that's right next to a kitchen. Like, taking them in cars to his house, putting them in fucking trucks. Like, this is like, it is so sad that this happened in Florida, because if this happened in DC, this would be over.
And then concealing them from investigators. That trial in Florida begins in May. And in Washington, D.C., Trump was indicted on felony charges for working to overturn the results of the 2020 election in the run-up to the January 6th.
Look at that face. He knows. He knows he fucked up. He thought he was going to get away with this. He thought, don't worry, I can do whatever I want. Supreme narcissism. He was like, I'm going to get away with it all. You know, that's exactly what he told all 18 of those lawyers that were in this with him. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be the next president, and you're going to benefit off of this. Don't worry. Don't worry at all. The criminals that I grew up with in the ghetto were smarter than Donald Trump.
Capitol riot. The Justice Department brought 4 felony charges against him in that case.
Wow.
Now, the legal challenges in Georgia and New York, they are in the state courts. Brandon Lewis from our Verified team answers your questions about whether Trump could pardon himself in the latest cases if he's reelected.
A Fulton County grand jury returned a true bill of indictment.
Georgia prosecutors indicted former President Donald Trump on charges of conspiracy and racketeering in connection to attempts to overturn the 2020 election. This is the former president's second indictment in state court, and soon after the case was unsealed, some people began searching online about whether Trump could pardon himself in the state cases if he's reelected as president. So, let's verify. Our sources are the Georgia State Board of Pardons and Paroles, Georgia State Law, the Georgia Justice Project, the New York State
Oh, dude, this is something that, like, no Trump supporter can ever do. He's citing sources.
Constitution, and the New York Executive Clemency Bureau. The U.S. Constitution gives the president broad power to issue pardons in offenses against the United States, which legal experts say only refers to federal convictions, and it's a legal gray area whether presidents could pardon themselves. When it comes to state charges, each state has its own rules. In Georgia, the pardon process is overseen by the Board of Pardons and Paroles. The 5-member board is appointed by the governor, but works as an independent agency. The state requires convicts complete at least 5 years of their sentence and not have any pending charges against them before requesting.
Oh, so this is what they're talking about. No matter what, if he is found guilty, he has to serve 5 years before he can even ask for a pardon. Woo! You think Rudy Giuliani is gonna survive in a county? What would he go? You think they wouldn't put him in a prison. He would get like a dorm room somewhere, right? Like there's no way they put these wealthy ass rich people in an actual prison, right? Like they're going to some like Club Med or something like that like it has like a lock on the door. They don't actually have bars, right?
Requesting a pardon. The board then conducts an investigation and then votes whether to grant a pardon. In New York, the governor has the sole authority to issue pardons. She can also unilaterally grant a commutation, which reduces a person's sentence if they've served at least half of their minimum prison term and were sentenced to more than a year in prison. So, no, Trump cannot pardon himself in state cases if he's reelected.
All right.
A conviction in the Georgia case, or really any other, though, would not prevent Trump from pursuing the White House or serving as president, and he is a frontrunner for the GOP presidential nomination. Other Republicans vying for the nomination include...
Dude, it says so much about the conservative party right now that he is the front runner. I mean, then again, let's take a look at some of these guys. That guy. Who the fuck is that guy? Mike Pence is polling at the very bottom. Dude, Mike Pence, like, how would you like to have been Mike Pence? You attached yourself to Donald Trump, and he literally left you hanging out to dry. Yeah, and now everyone hates you on the conservative side. Like, Pence can't even flip to the Democrats. The Democrats would not take Pence. He's like two Handmaid's Tale. There's no way he can be a Democrat. He's done. You got Chris Christie. Meh. All right. DeSantis has gone to show him. Pudding Fingers has gone on to show that he has no chance. Pudding Fingers is still polling like the second highest, though. That just goes to show you how far we've fallen. Is you've got 91 felonies or Pudding Fingers. At this point, that's the best the conservatives have, okay? And behind 91 felonies and Pudding Fingers, you got Vivek Ramaswamy, who happens to be like a little bit more of like a more palatable Donald Trump, or at least that's what he's trying to go with, right? Like, Pudding Fingers, okay? Pudding Fingers, I think, beats Ramaswamy. But Ramaswamy might actually be the better candidate. Just saying. And then this guy. Who the fuck is this guy? Where did he come from? Oh, Larry Elder. I didn't know Larry Elder was going. And who is this guy? You got Nikki Haley. You telling me Nikki Haley isn't at least better than Pudding Fingers? Not better than 91 felonies? How much does it hurt your feelings to know that a guy that has 91 felonies and 4 indictments is beating you in the Republican race right now? Tim Scott, you made a mistake. You should have joined the other party. You're going to lose to Pudding Fingers.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former Vice President Mike Pence, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, and U.S. Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina. The first Republican presidential debate is scheduled for August the 23rd. Stick with WFNY News 2 for continuing coverage headed into the 2024 general election. We'll be right back.
If we're going to just go full clown show on this shit, like if that's where we are at in America right now, is that we just gone full clown show, we might as well just put everybody's nicknames on the fucking voter docket. Like, if you're gonna check off, Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump, you might as well put Pudding Fingers on there because you know who you're really voting for. Okay, 91 felonies, hashtag 91 felonies, or Pudding Fingers. Thanks a lot for watching my video. If you liked it, hit that like and subscribe. If you'd like to join the Ginger Army and help support me for only $3 a month, you get to support a soulless ginger. You also get access to the Tantrum Trump and Prison Trump emojis. And don't forget to join me every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific for our live stream with yours truly. Thanks a lot, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Stay safe out there.